and gentlemen, and welcome to the Board of Directors meeting of Thursday, February the 16th, 2017. I'm calling the meeting to order. There is a quorum present. First order of business is introductions. I'm Carl Kenninger, President of the GTCA Board of Directors.
Mary Veal, Executive Assistant to the General Manager.
Joe Purcell, Director.
Wade Weston, Director.
Sohina Pune, Tower 2.
Rich Stovende, Director at Large. Justin Mack, Director at Large.
Richard Miller, Director, Tower 1.
Frank Filippoli, General Manager.
Oscar B., Director, Tower 3.
Thank you. The first order of business is approval of the open meeting minutes of December the 15th, 2016. Justin?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the open board minutes for December 15th.
Second.
The motion is seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes, raise your hand and say aye. Odd?
I abstain. I wasn't there.
The motion is passed. This evening, into the agenda, there's one additional item, which would be 5.4, which is performance bond for the boiler contract.
Microphone.
Performance and payment bond for the boiler contract. I have no remarks, so we're going to move on to the treasurer's report.
Good evening. My name is Marissa Poli. I will be presenting the financial report this evening. As of January 31st, 2017, the total cash in the depository account was approximately $577,000. The balance in the R&R account was approximately $6.2 million. The escrow account had a balance of about $1.6 million. The available cash as of January 31st was approximately $7.1 million. This represents an increase of available cash of approximately $213,000 compared to December 31st, 2016. I will now speak about the accounts receivable as of January 31st. The total accounts receivable from homeowners as of January 31st is approximately $3.3 million. Out of the $3.3 million, there are $3.2 million in legal, $6,400 in payment plans, $16,700 with 1 month past due, $261 with 2 months past due, and $8,900 over 60 days. We had approximately $311,000 of payments made through the Condo Cafe online payment portal. I will now speak about the accounts payable. The total accounts payable as of January 31st, 2017 was $611,640, which includes all invoices posted as of January 31st and known accruals. Legal invoices account for approximately $14,600. R&R invoices account for approximately $210,000. The breakdown of accounts payable consists of invoices 0 to 30 days old of approximately $494,631, invoices 31 to 60 days old of $64,939, invoices 61 to 90 days old of approximately $1,672, and invoices over 90 days old of approximately $50,000. As of January 27th, 2017, there were 628 owner occupants and 475 absentee owners. Of the 475 absentee owners, 392 are occupied by tenants. Units occupied by tenants represent approximately 36% of the total Galaxy units. The monthly package for December is available online through the Condo Cafe portal, where you may request copies from the accounting department, and the monthly package for January will be available by the end of next week. This concludes the financial report.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the board for the Controller's Office? There appears to be no questions. Thank you very much. We'll move on to the General Manager's report.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President, directors of the board, and Galaxy community. It's my pleasure to provide the management report for activities for the month of December and January 2017. First, I'd like to thank the board for not holding a meeting last month. As you know, this was at my request, as there were no action items from the staff to present for board approval. The members of the community might be interested to know it takes some 150 cumulative man-hours of staff and board of directors time to prepare for and conduct a monthly board meeting. A lot goes into this behind the scenes. So with no action items to approve, this time was better spent conducting other important business on behalf of the association, which I'm happy to report on now. New supervision staff. In December and January, staff worked with our contract services account representatives to reorganize and replace site supervisors for security, housekeeping, and front desk operations here at Galaxy. The security team is now led by Susan McKay, a certified protection professional. Prior to joining Allied Universal, she was in 2016 with a Bachelor of Arts from William Patterson University. Ms. McKay worked as a commercial property security manager responsible for development and implementation of policies and procedures, which is her strong suit. Her first priority at Galaxy is to enhance the procedures for guard tours so that when they observe and report, they serve as eyes and ears for the maintenance department while completing their normal security tours. And more importantly, the follow-up mechanisms she's putting in place to ensure that issues are handled with appropriate priority. So we welcome Susan. Also, housekeeping, Plan Company's housekeeping brought in Andre Vila, who joined the plan in January 2017. He comes with 7 years of supervisory experience in customer service and maintenance for both residential and corporate accounts. He's very experienced, passionate, and committed to improving the value of housekeeping here at the Galaxy. Andre's already providing leadership to shift the staff's standard operating procedures away from the traditional task and frequency approach to cleaning in favor of more frequent inspections and spot cleaning where manpower is most needed right at the time. And as an example, carpet cleaning that normally only occurs twice a week on schedule, which is what we contract for. However, carpeting is now inspected daily, especially on the floors that are under construction. And there's 9 of those floors under construction every single day. This ties into the new security procedures as well, where Andre is coordinating with security to be his eyes and ears as well. So we're doing everything we can to tie in all of these service supervisors together and get them better communicating. Also, Plan Companies replaced the front services supervisor. William Alicia joined Plan Companies team at the Galaxy as the new front desk ops supervisor. And he comes with 10 years of client relations and management experience and training experience as well. William managed movie theater chains throughout this tri-state area and was responsible for hiring and training hundreds of employees. More recently, he managed front desk operations for Marriott hotels. Over the course of his first 3 weeks, in order to get acquainted with the procedures here and the staff, William actually worked as a doorman and a concierge at all 3 towers during each of the 3 shifts and on weekends. He observed the staff and evaluated their performance, and he also took note of the issues and problems, both with our procedures, the challenges of the job, and the staff performance as well. After 3 weeks, then he finally assumed his real role as supervisor, to the surprise of his coworkers. So he's already worked now in the past 2 weeks that he's been in that role. He's worked with us to repurpose the mail rooms in each lobby. They were formerly used by mail carriers to sort our mail for about an hour a day. So those rooms were underutilized. They're now locker rooms for the staff, the front desk and door staff, and and each of them have been assigned a locker, and now among other things, such as their standard operating procedure manual, which each of them are required to have with them on the job at all times, take notes of and so forth. They put their hats and coats in there, and all those items are now out of your package rooms. And finally, they put their cell phones there for the entire day while they're on the job, so they have to remain locked in their lockers. That same change will happen with the security folks as well. Moving on, in the back of the room on the bar, you'll find the new resident directory. It used to be called the Galaxy Welcome Package, and staff has taken some time over the past couple months to completely update the package and also clarify some of the processes or practices that staff uses to provide services to the residents here. The old PTE form was now redesigned to be a resident information form, where we'll ask all residents to revise their requests and update the request regarding whether or not we at the front desk accept your packages and mail, or turn it away if you prefer that the front desk does not handle it. We also put clarifications in there about the weight of packages that we can accept at the front desk. Namely, there's a 50-pound limit, and we won't be accepting packages that are larger than your Bellman's carts. So anything larger than that and above 50 pounds is more appropriate to be handled as a delivery instead of a parcel or package, which is what that service was meant to be. We'll also hold all packages for 14 days. Now, some residents go away for the winter, continue to shop on Amazon.com and load the package room up and use it essentially as a storage room until they return. That's to the detriment of other residents here. Also, we've had many problems with residents using the package room to buy materials for renovations and decorations and kitchen remodeling. So all those things you'll find clarified in your resident directory. Again, there are copies in the back of the room. Another notable thing is our handling of your keys. There's an electronic key system, and it can accommodate one key for every single resident, or every single apartment rather, in the property. And there's also room enough in those electronic key drawers for a spare key. Now, the condominium bylaws gives the association the right and the responsibility to have a key to each of your units in case there's an emergency and they have to go in when you're not home. We very rarely do that, but when it's important, we must have that ability. So we're in the process of checking the keys that we have to make sure that we have a key for each unit. And those key checks have begun happening last week. Some of you have already gotten notices about this. And the process is very simple. We'll take the key out of the key track system with the security guard and the maintenance worker together as witness, and we'll put that key in your lock and turn it slightly to the left or right to make sure it's the right key. In no time will the lock be unlocked, no time will your door be opened, and you'll have adequate notice to know we're doing this, so you won't think that someone's trying to enter your apartment. That process will be completed in about another 3 weeks, and once it's done, we'll provide you with letters notifying you if we don't have a key, and also offering you the option of leaving with us in the lobby a spare key as well that we might use at your request to give to anyone of your choice or to yourself if you forget your keys. However, just one of those keys will be kept. If you as residents wish to have multiple keys available to multiple people, then you're free to give those keys out directly. But we can only house one key and one spare key for each, and be responsible for the security of that key. So moving on to garage reconstruction, the final phases of the heavy construction on the 12th and 11th floors is finally coming to an end. You might notice that the bottom of the ramp with the 10th floor was finally completed and opened up for parking, as well as the area between the 6th and 7th floors where we replaced a structural beam that was essentially holding up 5 levels of the garage above that. The next thing that will happen, and beginning on Monday, is the reconstruction of the deck on the ramp for the 11th floor entry exit, where the guard booth is when you exit the garage presently. We'll redo one side of that deck in the first 2 weeks, and then the other side in the next 2 weeks. There'll be no inconvenience other than the lanes will shift from one side to the other as the work is being done. This will involve some heavy chopping and repouring of concrete. Finally, as far as the construction goes, there will be spotted areas around the garage at all levels where we'll do small areas of partial depth and full depth reconstruction. These are small areas and generally potholes or 3 or 4 or 5 feet by 5 feet sections. We'll notify you if your vehicles are there and ask you to move them for a week or so until we finish that work. Then finally, as we reported in the past, in the early spring, traffic coating of the 12th and 11th floors and restriping of those floors will be accomplished. At that point, the garage construction for everything under contract, and that includes the work of the first contractor that we replaced, will be completed. However, the pain and disruption of garage reconstruction will not end there. We will need a new contract to go forward, and the board, toward the middle of last year, authorized an analysis of the rest of the garage, and that report is now finally available. Your board will be reviewing and discussing that in the days to come. There's approximately $6.6 million estimated in work to be completed on the other levels in order to make your garage safe and sound and good for the next 15 plus years. That work, we will be proposing to do that work over a 3-year period. The Plaza Drain project is substantially completed, where 41 drains in the Plaza driveway were replaced. This resolved some of the recurring leak issues in the mall below, and in fact, every drain location where the drain was replaced, we have been able to certify that there's no more water infiltration. We did have a punch list of items to be corrected, and the contractor is will be working on those as soon as weather permits. So you may notice some blocks that are out of line and out of kilter. Those and areas where there are wide gaps between the blocks that they installed and other areas, and they will be corrected in the next week or so, providing that weather permits. Finally, there are 3 items from management on the list of board items to be authorized tonight. The first is the addition of or the adjustment of the award to EVCO Mechanical Corporation to add $50,190 to the award that the board granted in December to cover the cost of a performance and payment bond for that boiler replacement contract. These were not calculated into the original award of recommendation approved by the board at its December meeting. At the December open meeting, the board authorized the award to EVCO Mechanical in the amount of $1,673,000 plus 10% contingency for a total amount of $1.8 million and change for this work. The scope of work for the project included a requirement for the contractor to provide surety bonds to ensure the contractor's performance, the cost of which was to be passed on to the Galaxy as part of the contract. Each of the 4 bidders did provide costs for the bonds as required. However, in tabulating the final bid pricing of EVCO's bid for the board recommendation, staff failed to include the bond price in the total. Now, by the staff, I mean myself, and I wrote that item and calculated it. Consequently, the EVCO bid was reported to be $1,673,000, that is. However, the actual bid should have reflected the addition of the $50,190 for the bonds, for a total bid of $1,723,190. Although the award total would be adjusted to correct the error, this does not change the outcome of the board's December 2016 action. The next lowest bid was $1,845,000. The EVCO adjusted bid then will remain the lowest bid by $122,000 below the next low bidder, not lower by $172,000 as was originally reflected in the information I provided in December. So we'll be asking the board to make that adjustment. Next item up is annual landscape service contract. Staff is going to recommend the award of the contract to Lawns by Yorkshire of Westwood, New Jersey to provide annual landscape service for 2017 in the amount of $64,822 plus contingencies. The scope of work includes seasonal landscape cleanup, irrigation system startup and management, turf mowing and care, weeding, mulching, and also the provision and installation and care of annual and perennial plants. Also weekly debris litter cleanup of all landscape areas. Now, a comprehensive scope was developed by staff, and on January 25th, requests for proposals were sent out to 8 landscape service companies known to operate in the Hudson-Bergen County area. The scope of work included all the items I mentioned, and it also included options for tree care, turf aerification, and water service, something we have not received in the past from our landscape contractor. 7 companies responded with responsive proposals and pricing. The 3 lowest bids were evaluated then based on their experience, references, and their approach to our itemized requirements. And this was followed by discussions with each bidder to clarify, or each of the 3 low bidders, that is, to clarify their respective offers and solicit best and final offers. All 3 final offers were in a very tight competitive range with only about $1,000 difference between the lowest and the highest of the 3 low offers. And no material differences can be distinguished among the 3 companies. Staff therefore recommends the award to Lawns by Yorkshire, the lowest bidder. And that would be in the amount of $64,822. Finally, before the board is an award recommendation for a contract for interior signs for the common hallways. Staff is seeking authorization to award a contract to Sign Expo of New York for custom fabrication and delivery of interior signs and apartment door faceplates to coincide with the hallway redecorating project in the amount of $216,187 plus 10% for contingencies, for a total contract amount of $242,305.48. The new interior signage will complement the new hallway finishes. The scope includes custom-made door signs, directionals, and other orientation signs, some of which are now required to have raised letters and braille to comply with today's ADA regulations. The signs in each of the 3 towers will be fabricated using materials in red, green, and blue identifying colors, namely in the fonts of those signs, which have been customary in the finishes of the towers for many years. An RFP was developed for this work as well by staff and advertised to 8 pre-qualified firms. 4 firms initially submitted proposals with pricing ranging from $249,000 to $337,000. Staff then vetted the capabilities of each company based on the criteria such as experience, annual revenue derived from other similar work, applicability of previous projects, and samples of previous work, and also references. Each company was offered was then evaluated based on the proposed materials they would use to fabricate our signs, production time, payment terms, price. This was followed by a round of negotiations to solicit best and final offers. Once those final offers came in, the range of prices changed and went down from a high of $300,000 to a low of $216,000. So staff recommends the award to that low bidder, Sign Expo, in the amount of $216,186 as the lowest bidder and also the most advantageous offer to the Galaxy for the sign program. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Frank. Are there any questions on these topics from the board? Richard?
Frank, thank you for the comprehensive report. The scaffolding in the garage, when is that scheduled to come down? The concrete work has been finished, and could you identify when it's going to come down?
Yeah, sure. The engineer recommended 21 days for the what they call shoring, holding up those slab areas that we replaced. 21 days following the break test. Once the concrete is poured, a sample of that concrete, and it must be 5,000 pounds per square inch rated, is taken in a small cylinder and sent to a lab to be broken so that we could know for sure what the tolerance is. So once the break test came back and they did comply with the standards, the 5,000 pound standard, the engineer asked for the shoring to remain in place for 21 more days for curing. So I don't know off the top of my head, but I think the shoring comes down in about another week or so. That would be all the shoring I think we only have shoring now left under the beam replacement area. That beam is some 14 inches thick and 8 inches wide. The rest of the slab, I believe the shoring is already down now, below the 10th floor.
No, the shoring is still up on the 5th floor. That's at the bottom of the garage, and it's up the floor above on the 6th floor. So that'll come down at that time. And also, what's happening is that shoring being removed from the Galaxy, or are we storing it?
I can't answer that. That's a legal matter since we terminated the contract of the contractor that provided the shoring. The ownership of the shoring is in question. And the important thing to us was to leave all that shoring in place even though the contract was canceled because it was holding our garage up. The 5th floor, by the way, the beam was so heavy on that between the 6th and 7th floor, and it was holding up so many other floors of the garage above that we not only shored the floor below, but we went all the way down to earth bedrock. So that's why the shoring appears down below. All that will be removed at the same time. But I can't tell you who owns the shoring, and that's kind of a big, ambiguous legal question, and that remains.
So I suppose it'll be stored for now, like on the 8th floor, wherever there's a lot of other storage for the garage. All right, as long as it'll be taken out of the areas and not left there, okay. Because I had a number of people ask me that. The other thing is anybody monitoring the mail areas? Because now that the mailmen don't have the mail room, I know in Tower 1 and Tower 3, the yellow gates are being left there. So obviously nobody, I have the answer, obviously nobody is monitoring, but it has been there for the last several days.
Well, I can tell you that I certainly am not monitoring the gates myself. However, the lobby staff is tasked with that, and any and all other items that affect the curb appeal and the beauty of your lobbies, they should be on it. So I'll take that as feedback and make sure that we heighten their sensitivity to those issues.
Are there any additional questions? Peter?
I do.
Go ahead.
Frank, thank you very much for the report. I thank the staff for putting together this
Microphone.
testing. I thank the staff for putting together this, the Galaxy Resident Directory. Are we gonna be mailing this to everyone? Are we handing it out to everyone? How are we getting this to everyone in the place?
Well, I would propose that mailing it to everyone would probably not be necessary. There are about 40 copies in the back of the room for everybody here today, this evening. I would also propose that we make copies available in all the lobbies to just be picked up. And it's also will be posted on Condo Cafe in case anyone wants to see it online. But it probably wouldn't be cost effective or even necessary to mail it to all the residents. However, that's certainly at your desire if that's what you like.
I just think that you guys did a great job on it, and there's a lot of great information in there, very important information for Galaxy residents, stuff that every Galaxy resident should know. I also would like to see this at the front desk, because parts of this, the concierge needs to know, and this would be actually a great training tool for new concierges to actually go through this, to learn some of the rules, and to have some of the businesses in the area. This is an absolutely a great tool for us to be using going forward. Thank you.
Right, thank you. You'll see it. It will be featured in the weekly update tomorrow, and copies will be available on all desks, and we'll make sure we keep it in stock there.
Any additional questions? Thank you very much, Frank. Now we're going to move on to the agenda. There is no unfinished business. Under new business, the first item is revision of the SPA rules for independent service providers. Just as a little background, on November 19, 2009, board passed a resolution 11-09166 that established the rules that are being modified today. Can I have a motion for modification?
Motion to amend the independent service provider policy approved on November 19, 2009.
Second.
And basically, there are some changes to independent service provider policy. In number 1 categories, which it says any individual, independent service provider, any individual who charges a fee for their services, for example, but not limited to personal trainer, class instructor, or therapist, they have added swimming instructor too. In Part B, client should be Galaxy residents only. In number 2, procedures for independent service providers, Part B, it says that must provide to spa management the necessary written documentation of professional certification and professional liability insurance. What has been added is along with CPR certification from an authorized provider. Okay. And in number 8, it says must wear identification at all times, including entering the property, if a non-resident which clearly indicates name and service provider. So the only thing that has been added is that they have to include, including entering the property, they should have to have the identification if a non-resident which clearly indicates name and service provider. In Part D, it says any resident registered as an independent service provider may not use their normal guest privileges or another resident's privileges to register clients as guests. To avoid potential for conflict, ISPs who are residents forfeit guest privileges at all times. In Part F, it says independent service providers must log in clients and or class participants at their appropriate place, reception desk, adult activity room, or pool area prior to service. This is the changed, that basically they have to log in clients and the participants in the class, etc. In Part G, it says failure to provide and maintain written proof of current professional certification, professional liability insurance, and CPR certification. CPR certification has been added. To spa management will result in immediate suspension of privileges to use all Galaxy Spa facilities. In Part I, it has, the whole sentence has been added. Failure to adhere to these procedures may result in sanctions up to and including termination of your agreement as an independent service provider.
The motion has been seconded. Are there any comments? I'm sorry. Excuse me.
There are three more things. For fees, it has been changed that independent service providers' fee of $250 will be charged annually on their anniversary date for any existing ISPs, while new ISPs will be charged immediately upon acceptance. ISPs may select 6 months for $150, payable on the respective dates as per their annual renewal or start date of a new contract. There is no capability to prorate. And Part 7, Part 6 says spa rules must follow any and all Galaxy Health spa rules that are in effect for Galaxy residents and guests. And all ISPs must initial and sign both the Galaxy Tower Condominium Association's independent service provider policy and the current Galaxy Health Spa rules documents. And your signature acknowledges receipt, understanding, and agreement of all the sections of those documents.
Excuse me for interrupting you before you were finished. Are there any other comments? No. There appears to be no other comments. I'm going to call for a vote. All those in favor of this revision, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you very much. The next order of business is the annual landscape maintenance contract.
Motion to award the contract to Loans by Yorkshire of Westwood, New Jersey to provide annual landscaping services for the 2017 season in the amount of $64,822 plus 15% contingency for a total authorization of $74,543.
Is there a second? The motion is seconded. Discussion?
I have a question. Did we always put 15% contingency on the landscaping contract?
No, we have not put a 15% contingency in prior contracts.
And the reason being why, maybe you can ask Frank, why is it that we're adding a 15% contingency to this contract opposed to prior?
Well, I asked for a 15% contingency, so you have the ability of adding plants or paying for, within the scope of this contract, tree removal for dead trees, or an example would be where you would replace plants or shrubs, the planter around the front of the mall where your evergreens were burned in a fire last year. So these are things that are not in a maintenance, an annual service maintenance contract, but you may very well want to use your landscaper to do. Now, if the award is at, sorry, I don't recall the amount, but
$64,020.
then since your ability to contract only limits you to what you award at your meeting, this gives you the flexibility to add some incidentals. I think it comes to about $9,000 in incidentals that you may want to add. This is not a contingency that you would give your contractor. In fact, none of that goes into the contract. Anything above that base amount would require a change order, written change order signed by you, the board president. I, as your manager, also don't spend these contingencies without consulting with you. So it's in there for flexibility. It's your choice whether you think it's a good idea.
I know I, for one, would feel more comfortable not having that contingency in there, because I can foresee there's a possibility, well, this needs to be replaced, that needs to be replaced, and the board won't know about it. I think it should come to the board. We do have a total landscape budget of $75,000, so we already have that total amount, and the extra is there for such reason for tree trimming, replace broken irrigation line. So I would just recommend to the board that 15% contingency be removed.
We always did have a contingency, but it wasn't at 15%, it was at 10%.
No, we did not have a contingency, no contingency in the landscape contract. Are there any additional comments now? Richard?
Yes. The other thing is, I didn't favor this company. It's may have a very good reputation. It's on First Service's list of approved companies, as well as D&G, one of the other companies competing. We never saw the work of this landscaping company. Past 4 years, we've had 2 companies here. Brickman was here. It was also a First Service company, and we all know the disappointment we had in that company. Then Nemco was brought in, also a First Service company, and didn't work out. I hope, it seems like the board's going to approve Yorkshire, and I hope it works out, but just being a First Service approved company doesn't do anything for me. D&G maintains all the best buildings in the area, Watermark, Half Moon House, Winston Tower is one of them, Carlisle, many other buildings in the area, and nobody has seen the work that Yorkshire has done. That's my comments.
Other additional comments? Alan?
No, I just want to amend the motion.
Yes.
Can I amend the motion to remove the contingency of 15%?
Is there a second to the amendment?
I second it.
Is there a discussion of the amendment? There appears to be no discussion. All those in favor of removing the 15% contingency, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. The contingency is removed. Are there any further comments on the motion itself? Then I'm going to call for a vote on the motion, which is the award of the landscaping contract to Yorkshire of Westwood in the amount of $64,822. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye. All those
Aye.
opposed?
Opposed?
The motion is carried. You have to count them. Thank you very much. We'll now move on to hallway signage. Wait.
I'd like to make a motion to award the contract to Sign Expo New York for custom fabrication and delivery of interior signs and apartment door base plates for the hallway redecoration project in the amount of $216,186.80, plus 10% contingency for a total contract $242,305.48. This is contingent upon physical samples prior to production and approval before the award of the contract.
Motion is seconded. Is there any discussion? There appears to be no discussion. All those in favor of the hallway signage contract, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Motion is passed, I believe unanimously. The last item of business is the performance payment bond for the boiler contract.
I make a motion to authorize the increase to the contract, award to Eveco Mechanical of West Orange, New Jersey, to the replacement of Galaxy's heat plant by $50,190 to cover the cost of the performance and payment bonds, which were not calculated in the award recommended and approved by the board in the December 2016 meeting. The adjusted value of the contract awarded will now be $1,723,190 plus 10% contingency for a grand total of the award for $1,895,509.
Is there a second? Motion is seconded. Any discussion? There appears to be no discussion. All those in favor of the motion, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Is there any other business for the night?
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded. All those in favor of adjourning the meeting, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.